Welcome back, focused learners. We're jumping right into a really powerful explainer today. We're going to capture the absolute essentials of a super practical book, Anger Management for Dummies, and distill its core insights into a clear, actionable guide, all in 8 minutes or less. So, if you've ever felt your blood pressure spike over, a tiny little inconvenience, you are definitely in the right place.
Okay, let's dive into this. I want you to answer honestly here. Is your anger managing you? Like, are you in control of your rage, or are you actually a victim of it? So often, we just let external circumstances completely dictate our internal state. But the truth is, and this is a real game changer, you can actually choose how you respond when the world, well, doesn't treat you exactly the way you want it to. To figure out exactly how to make that choice, we're grounding today's explainer in the brilliant work of clinical psychologist Dr. Laura L. Smith. Her book makes this fundamental, totally paradigm-shifting point right from the start. Anger isn't some sort of disease that can or even should be cured. Instead, it's something to be actively managed. We're not trying to completely eliminate your emotions here. We're just trying to give you the tools to steer them. And to manage it, we first have to normalize it. Look, anger is not a character flaw. It's a completely natural, built-in survival mechanism. It is literally the fight component of your fight or flight response. It exists to protect you from harm, to move you to take offensive measures against threats. So if you get angry, please don't feel guilty. Your brain is simply doing what it evolved to do. But as you'll see in our modern world, this primal mechanism often gets completely hijacked. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how our modern environment actually exploits that natural survival mechanism. A massive study tracking millions of messages looked at how emotions spread online. And wow, while sadness moves pretty slowly, and joy is kind of somewhere in the middle, rage is the quickest emotion of all to go viral. It spreads like wildfire. We're living in an ecosystem that actively feeds our anger, mostly just because it captures our attention faster than absolutely anything else. Section 1. The true cost of rage and what unmanaged anger takes from you. Because when we constantly consume that viral rage or let our own anger run rampant, it begins to exact a heavy, compounding toll. Unmanaged anger creates what is essentially a triad of destruction. And the costs? They are profound. It harms your physical health by keeping your body in this constant state of stressful arousal. It completely sabotages your career by clouding your judgment and alienating your colleagues. And, perhaps most tragically, it ruins your most intimate relationships. When anger and love mix, that emotional distress escalates so incredibly fast. And this brilliantly illustrates the stark contrast between two very different paths. On one side, we have the out-of-control mindset, reactive, impulsive, and frankly, just exhausting. On the other side, we have the in-control mindset, which is defined by being thoughtful, deliberate, and predictable. And that is the ultimate goal of anger management right there. It's not about stuffing your feelings down. It's about shifting from an unpredictable, explosive state into a deliberate, thoughtful presence. Section 2. The Anti-Anger Toolkit. These are your in-the-moment strategies. So, how do we stop the explosion when the fuse is already lit? We need immediate, actionable tools. Here is your quick, 3-step reaction process. Step 1. Identify the source. Like, what exactly provoked you? Step 2. Acknowledge the feeling. Literally say out loud, I am angry because, and rate the intensity from 1 to 10. And step 3, which I find incredibly empowering, legitimize your anger. You always have a right to experience your feelings, and you don't actually need to justify them to anyone. Just acknowledging that your anger is valid can instantly dial down that intensity. Now here is an unexpected, incredibly practical tip to physically short-circuit the anger response. You might think that aggressively playing a mobile game, like Candy Crush, will help blow off steam, right? But it actually keeps your brain highly stimulated. Instead, Dr. Smith suggests literally putting a piece of hard candy in your mouth and quietly sucking on it, no crunching allowed, until it's gone. This takes about 5 minutes, and it provides a simple, physical distraction that interrupts the natural progression of anger. Pretty wild, right? If you don't have candy on hand, just remember these 2 critical rules. Be quiet and be patient. First, be quiet. Venting your anger verbally actually adds more tension and elevates your heart rate. The moment you feel angry, just close your mouth. Second, be patient. Emotions work a lot like gravity. What goes up must eventually come down. If you just give it 5 to 10 minutes without feeding it, the anger will naturally resolve itself. Time is literally your absolute best ally. Speaking of time, let's talk about the number 10. A lot of us think, hey, I just don't have time to build healthy habits to manage stress. But research proves that just 10 minutes of high intensity exercise a day conveys massive stress relieving benefits. You don't need some grueling 2-hour gym session. Just 10 minutes a day of burning off physical tension can radically lower your baseline anger levels.
Section 3, Building an Anti-Anger Lifestyle for Long-Term Peace. Let's move to and see how this builds from those immediate emergency tactics into a sustainable, calm lifestyle. A massive part of this is shifting your perspective. Take a look at this quote from the famous Emmons and McCullough gratitude study. They found that participants who simply wrote 5 sentences a day about things they were grateful for completely shifted their mindset away from daily hassles. They actually felt physically better and were even more helpful to others. Practicing daily gratitude physically rewires your brain to look for the good, rather than constantly seeking out things to be furious about. You can also proactively build your emotional intelligence with some intentional, everyday habits. Things like reading editorials you strongly disagree with, just to practice reading without reacting. Or visiting local museums to kind of get out of your own head. Walk with someone slower than you and actually go at their speed. Don't make life a race, you know? Practice meditation. These small daily actions train your brain to tolerate discomfort and slow down, which makes you so much less likely to snap when a real trigger comes along. So, the crucial point is this. We need to replace the intense, negative fixation of anger with a positive, deep engagement. Dr. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi calls this flow. It's that amazing state of consciousness when you are so totally immersed in an activity that you just lose track of time. Flow anchors you entirely in the present moment, producing an immediate reward. Whether it's playing the piano, walking your dog, painting, whatever it is, engaging in flow activities literally starves your anger of the oxygen it needs to survive. So I want to leave you with this final, somewhat provocative thought. Will you let your anger consume you, or will you use it to find your flow? Anger is a natural, totally unavoidable part of the human experience, but you hold the reins. When the spark ignites, will you let the fire consume you, your health, and your relationships? Or will you take a breath, maybe pop a piece of hard candy, wait 10 minutes, and take charge of your emotional responses moving forward? The choice is entirely yours. Thank you so much for joining me today to explore this explainer. I really hope you found these tools helpful and empowering. If you enjoyed this, subscribe to In 8 Minutes and never miss what matters.